Ciao Stephanie.
Ciao Sandra.
Stephanie, where you come from?
I am from New York.
You've spent some time here in Taormina, Sicily. Why did you choose to have a study abroad program in Italy?
I chose Italy because I've always loved the Italian language and I've wanted to learn it. And then I picked Sicily afterwards because it's a beautiful island and I love the culture and the food, and I have roots here in Sicily, so I wanted to come back and see it and live here myself.
So that's why you especially choose Sicily for your abroad program in Italy?
Yes.
Okay. What have you been studying during your program in Taormina?
I've studied Italian since the day I got here, and then I had some extra courses in art history and history of Sicily, and also just the culture of Sicily and learning about it through a real aspect and how people live every day and the actual human history of it, not just textbook history.
All right. So during your program, during your history and art history program, did you learn what you were expecting? Did you already know something about the history and art history in Sicily, or what you learned was somehow totally new to you?
I knew very little. I knew just about a general European history, and then with spots Sicily came up, but then when I learned and I spent time just really focusing on Sicily, I learned a lot that I never would have known or noticed, with the ruins that are all over Italy and with the agriculture here and why it exists and everything like that. That's something I wouldn't have known if I didn't study here directly.
During your art history program, part of your course was in classroom, but part of your course was also walking around to go visiting archaeological sites or buildings or churches or theaters. What building, what theater, what monument did you like best?
I think the one I liked the best was actually when we went down to Giardini Naxos and we saw the museum and the ruins that are there, because now, since they are some of the oldest in Sicily, they're so low that you wouldn't know what they were unless you had learned about them, and then once you know the history of everything, you realize how old it is and where all of this came from and why Naxos is there and why Taormina is here. So that is what probably stuck with me the most.
Do you think that the combination of the history class with the art history helped you in the art history class?
Yes, I think taking the history class first helped a lot because the timeline made sense to me and I understood who was invading Sicily at what point and how that impacted the art.
Now, as you said, Taormina and Naxos have a very long history. Naxos was the first colony in Sicily, and so there are more than 2,500 years of history here, with so many domination having ruled in Taormina and in Sicily.
Yeah.
Now, is this an interesting part of the program for someone who comes from the state to see, how many people, how many different dominations have been here, and how do you feel that this has impacted the way of life here?
I think for someone who comes from the States, it's very interesting because we don't have anything this old at all, and we've only, our history, it doesn't compare to this. It's not even a quarter of this long, and I think that for the people who live here, there's a higher sense of pride in where they come from because, there's been so much that has happened here and so many invasions, and, finally to be unified with Italy and to have a way of life set for them and to not constantly be invaded, it gives them a higher sense of pride than somebody in America would have.
Now, you were talking about people. How did you find people here in general, in your social life?
I found them very open. Especially when I first came here and I didn't speak a lot of Italian. So let's say at a restaurant or at a bar or a cafe, when I would try and speak, I found they were very patient with me, and they helped a lot with me trying to speak, and even when I was completely wrong, they were patient and they were very nice to a foreigner who came here trying to learn.
Now, there is an image, let's say archetypical, stereotypical image of Sicily that especially comes out from the cinema. Did you find that image of Sicily that you had before coming here actually compares with the real life here?
I think as far as the food goes, it is the same. You know, people say that Italians and Sicilians especially, they love their food, they take pride in their food, it's delicious, the ingredients are fresh, and that much is true. But you know, they also tend to say that Sicilians are always loud and always crazy and rude, but that wasn't true. But then there's also that they're nice people and they welcome you into their home and you can sit down and have a dinner and a conversation and it's always pleasant. So there's a couple stereotypes, and I think the one that leans towards that they're just nice, open people is the one I
for
find to be
example, in
correct.
some of the movies comes out, you know, about all these Sicilian women wearing black
No.
dresses. I mean, did you find anything like this?
No. They're very modern women dressed exactly the way I did.
Okay. What did you find similar, or what did you find absolutely different from your culture here?
From my culture here, people are more forward here than they are in the States sometimes, and also just because I live in such a big city that, you know, when you walk by someone, usually you don't say hello to them, you just keep going, and the time is so fast and everyone's rushing, and you know, you eat lunch in 1 minute and then you go back to work, and whereas here lunch is 2-3 hours long. And if you walk down the street, you can wave to someone and say hello even if you don't know them, you know, and it's not strange. And
So
it's not
somehow they're
rushed.
more social.
Yeah, they're more social, they're more relaxed, they sort of take in life differently.
Yeah. Now, let's talk a little bit about the institute where you have studied your programs, and can you talk a bit about Babylonia as it is as a school?
As a school, I like that it's so small because, you know, it's an easier learning environment, and I think the structure of it in that, you know, you take the test when you come here and you find your place, because I didn't know mine before I came here. I had just known bits and pieces. And then you find your place in Italian, and then from there I think it's easier because you're with people who are at your exact level. And just the way that Babylonia works in the sense of you move up the levels when you're ready, and you move up more or less with your class, so you're with a lot of the same people and you learn together is nice. As an institute, it's nice, it's very warm, very friendly. There's a lot of, you see the same faces every day, and it's nice that you change teachers so you know them all on a more, you know, I've been here for 7 months, so I've known them all on a personal level, which to me has been a really nice treat because I'm not used to that at all.
So you said you've been here for about 6 months. I guess you also made your own private life here and integrated with the community. Can you tell me more about that? How easy or difficult was to integrate with the local community?
It was difficult at first, just because I was, you know, I'm from a completely different country, and Italian was a second language. It is a second language to me, but at the time I wasn't very good. But after I became more comfortable speaking it, and I was able to speak it more, I felt myself more comfortable with the people, and once that happened, it's very easy for me to just slide in and make friends and build a life here like I had been here for much longer than I had been.
So one last question. What would you suggest to someone who comes to Sicily or Taormina, something that they can't miss at all?
I think even if you come here in January, February, you have to go to the beach. You need to see the sea, because to see a sea like that, you know, the Mediterranean, the Ionian, the Tyrrhenian, anywhere in Sicily, it's spectacular, and it's something that you can't overlook. Even if it's cold out and you think you have to bundle up and wear all these clothes, you need to see it. You need to experience it.
So today is your last day. Are you a bit sad to leave?
Yes.
Right. But thank you so much for being with us, for spending so much time here in Taormina, and I hope this experience enriched your soul and your knowledge as well.
It did. Thank you too.
Thank you, Stephanie.